Hello and welcome to National Focus. I am Shakira Pear. In the headline, students to return to school while adhering to the health protocols. 70 receive scholarships from Melissa Skerritt Foundation, while Member of Parliament for the Roseau South constituency hands over back-to-school supplies to students in her constituency, and Grand Fund to benefit from a $1.2 million project for the construction of a storm drain. Details of the headline stories and more when we return.
Scary! Everything just shaking and making big creaky noises.
Earthquakes, big and small, take place in the Caribbean at least 10 times a year.
The dishes rattling and falling and breaking, then Vonnie started to scream.
All I could think to do was shout, "Get outside, get out!"
Earthquakes, hazards, take control, reduce your loss. If an earthquake hits, what can you do? Get down, get under an item of furniture like a table. Hold on and stay there until the quake passes. Find out lots more about earthquakes and other hazards at your local disaster office. A message from your National Disaster Office and SEDERA.
Welcome back. The 2020-2021 academic year has officially begun today, September 7, 2020, under protocols and guidelines developed by the Ministry of Education, Human Resource Planning, Vocational Training, and National Excellence. The protocols are aimed at promoting public health and social measures while managing the risk of an increase of cases in schools. Schools were closed in March 2020 after Dominica recorded its first case of COVID-19. Since the closure of schools, the ministry has been preparing for a safe return of teachers and students to the classroom. The new guides were developed based on advice and protocols from UNICEF, CARICOM, the World Health Organization, CARPHA, and the CDC, among others. Minister for Education, Human Resource Planning, Vocational Training, and National Excellence, Honorable Octavia Alfred, congratulated the education officers who developed the guidelines.
Like last year, we are well aware that this academic year will be a challenge. But if we continue working collaboratively as we have done in the past, we will certainly overcome our hurdles together. I wish to congratulate and thank the officers of the Ministry of Education who developed the guidelines and protocols for the reopening of schools. It is a concise and well put together document that I believe can be put to effective use in schools to help keep our children safe. We expect all schools to adhere to the guidelines as outlined. Thank you for your commitment on this.
Minister Alfred says the main concern is that of the students and teachers, and they need to work together to keep themselves safe.
Of paramount importance will be the issue of safety, which I know is a major preoccupation for you, as it is for us in the Ministry of Education. The guidelines and protocols are certainly a good start, and it is my hope that we can work together to put into practice the recommendations therein.
Meanwhile, Principal of the Roseau Primary School, Ms. Sarah Abraham, says the first day, while hectic, went well. She says students were properly sanitized before entering the compound.
This morning we started off with the security guard, and one of our teachers were at the gate to sanitize the students' hands as they were coming in. We informed the parents on our WhatsApp group that they could not come into the school with the students. They would come in after. So we allowed only the students wearing their mask to come in. They were sanitized at the gate, like I said, and then they went up to their classrooms. The classrooms were already open, prepared, sanitized, and waiting for them. The teachers were at school.
Ms. Abraham urged parents to work with them in ensuring the students are properly equipped with their sanitization kits. She also called on parents to assist the school in teaching the students the mandatory protocols, such as social distancing.
When I questioned the teachers, they told me many of the students came in with their pack. They had their hand sanitizer, they had some alcohol. So I want to encourage the parents to continue to give that to them and to always repeat the protocol to the students. What we want them to stress a lot is the social distancing, because they like having their hands sanitized. So this is not a problem. This is going down properly. But social distancing, this is our main concern. So parents, I would like to encourage you to stress that first, social distancing.
Ms. Abraham says she has high expectations for a relatively normal school year despite COVID-19. She explained that while they will be adhering to all the protocols put in place by the Ministry of Health, the school hopes that they will still be able to host their normal school activities.
I just want to encourage the parents of Roseau Primary School to work along with us and let us see how we can have a very good year. In spite of COVID-19, let us enjoy the year.
The Ministry of Health, Wellness and New Health Investment announced one new case of COVID-19 on Thursday, 3rd September 2020. Following the announcement, Prime Minister Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit called on persons to stop all illegal forms of entry into Dominica.
We've always asked the citizens of Dominica, we've always cautioned ourselves against encouraging or being involved in this illegal entry into Dominica. This backdoor arrangement in Dominica must stop. We are placing ourselves, our families, and the entire country at risk. When we come into the country, we do not know that you're there, and then you have COVID-19. And you roam in the streets, and you roam in the bars and everywhere else. What could have happened?
Prime Minister Skerrit also encouraged individuals to report anyone who enters the country illegally in order to protect the lives of all Dominicans.
So this has to be a national effort. It's not about the Minister for Health or the government alone. All of us must play our part. And so you cannot have someone in your house knowing that person came in illegal and you're not calling the police. Or you're not telling that person go to and get tested. We have to speak out against this thing. This is not political. We must never always see things from this narrow political perspective. This is our country. This is about our welfare, our well-being, our safety. And so we have to speak about this as a nation and so on, because that could have created serious problems. Now we have to find out which boat you came on, who are the people on the boat, where they are, contact tracing, testing. And you can imagine if maybe 7 of them are on the boat, and they all go to 7 different communities, and they all have COVID-19. So you see what the government has to be dealing with every day.
Prime Minister Skerrit says if there is an increase in COVID-19 cases, government will be forced to close all ports of entry and return to restricted movement.
If we have a surge of cases in Dominica, we have to close the borders. We now have to go back to restricting people's movements and activities. And the point is, if we do not understand the critical nature of this, then many of us who have jobs today and who are able to pay our mortgages and our rent, I give you the assurance, if we shut down the country again, you will not have a job.
70 students from the Roseau Central constituency have received scholarships for the 2020-2021 academic school year. The scholarships are a result of a collaboration between the Melissa Skerrit Foundation and the Tranquility Beach Resort Dominica, who gave 20 of the 70 scholarships. The students received the scholarships as well as school bags at a small ceremony held at the Windsor Park Sports Stadium on Friday, September 4, 2020. Founder of the Melissa Skerrit Foundation and parliamentary representative for the Roseau Central constituency, Honorable Melissa Skerrit, says they are committed to the success of students around the island.
We in the Melissa Skerrit Foundation and as parents in general are committed to giving you the tools to help in your success. Our contribution is not just a donation to each and every one of you, but it is a small down payment on the future for a better Dominica. And this week, the Melissa Scarry Foundation started with the distribution of 1,600 backpacks to school supplies. And today, with the Adopt a Child Back to School program, we shall award 70 educational scholarships to deserving students.
The Member of Parliament says the foundation has always moved towards improving the lives of citizens, noting that focus has been placed on students at all academic levels.
The Melissa Scarry Foundation has been in operation over the past 6 years and has always sought to improve the lives of all Dominican citizens. Since its inception, the foundation has launched 4 major programs, namely Elderly Love, Single Mothers Program, the School Feeding, and the Adopt a Child Back to School program. This Adopt a Child Back to School program focuses on Dominican students at all educational levels to the payment of school fees, presentation of school supplies, including bags and stationery, and also complete uniform packages. This year, the foundation's presentation here was supplemented with a donation of 91 laptops to students from the Roseau Central constituency. These valuable contributions to our students will certainly make their educational paths easier.
Meanwhile, Director of Tranquility Beach Resort Dominique, take that again. Meanwhile, Director of Tranquility Beach Resort Dominica, Mr. Ian Edwards, says they are delighted to collaborate with the Melissa Scarry Foundation to assist with the educational development of Dominican students.
Tranquility Beach Resort, Sunstone Inc., and our associates, Sadas and Immigration Law Firm, and Caribbean Investment Consultants Limited, are delighted to join hands with Melissa Scarry Foundation in providing scholarships to children through the Adopt a Child Back to School program for children and families across our island. This worthy program aims to provide children in need a gift that will keep on giving, providing the opportunity to unleash creativity and critical thinking and the necessary tools to access innovative ways to contribute to our island, the region, and the world.
Mr. Edwards says a country's human resource is its greatest asset, an asset that should be continuously invested in.
Funding programs like these create a commitment, an investment in our children and our youth who are equipping themselves to lead and inspire our communities and our nation in the next generation. Dominica is forging ahead as a world leader in the CBI industry, in climate resilience, and other critical areas of sustainable development. Our human resources is our greatest asset, but we cannot take it for granted. We must continually invest in it to compete in this increasingly fluid world.
Minister for Education, Human Resource Planning, Vocational Training and National Excellence, Honorable Octavia Alfred, encouraged students to be excellent in all that they do.
Be a person of excellence. Give it your best shot even when no one is looking at you. Imagine how excellence will walk. Imagine how excellence will talk. Imagine how excellence will dress. And be a person of excellence.
You're watching National Focus. More when we return. 48 students from the Roseau South constituency are now better equipped for the 2020-2021 academic year, following a handing over ceremony which was held on Thursday, September 3, 2020, where the parliamentary representative for the Roseau South constituency, Honorable Shakira Lockhart Hippolyte, handed over backpacks with school supplies to early childhood, primary and secondary school students in her constituency. Honorable Hippolyte says the donation was made to assist students with the necessary tools needed to succeed.
I have a passion for education, and I love to empower and to assist young people to realize their dreams. Some of you all are a bit too small to know about dreams, but I'm sure that there are things that, right now you're saying that I want to be an astronaut, or I want to be a scientist, or I want to be a doctor, or I want to be a lawyer. But how do you achieve those things? And these things can only be achieved if you have the necessary tools. One, the necessary tools and the motivation to succeed.
The parliamentary representative says over $200,000 have been spent to purchase uniforms for the students of the Roseau South constituency.
To date, over $200,000 have been spent in the Roseau South constituency to assist parents with uniform and shoes for their children. And I must say that is remarkable, because that has never been done in the Roseau South constituency. And recognizing that we live in a time of uncertainty. We are living in very difficult time right now, and I have come to the aid of the people of the Roseau South constituency.
Honorable Hippolyte says other donations of school supplies and sanitary products will also be made to the schools in her constituency.
I will be making some supplies available to the schools. School supplies, stationery, and also some masks and sanitizers to all my schools, preschools as well as primary school in the Roseau South constituency.
The parliamentary representative also awarded one male student, Dominica, with a full scholarship to attend the Goodwill Secondary School. Honorable Hippolyte expressed her thanks to Ocean's Edge Restaurant Bar for their assistance with the scholarship.
I want to thank Ocean Edge for assisting us in giving him his scholarship. And Danny, I want to tell you that I know you like to play a lot. You like to be on the road. Your mother always asks me to speak to you. I'm going to adopt you. One of my children. I have plenty, all of them are my children. I'm going to pay special attention to you because I want to see you do well. I want you to make yourself proud, and I want you to make your mommy proud, your family proud. Okay? And if you need any help with your homework, whatever the case may be, we are there to assist you. Okay?
The government of Dominica has signed a $1.2 million project with the Basic Needs Trust Fund, BNTF, for the construction of the Grand Fond Storm Drain. The contract was signed by Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Sports, Culture and Community Development, Mr. Lucian Blackmore, and a representative of Regional Contractors, Inc., Mr. Patrick Paul, at a signing ceremony held on Wednesday, September 2 at the Grand Fond Primary School. P.S. Blackmore says the construction of a new storm drain in Grand Fond is another step towards making Dominica the first climate-resilient nation in the world.
This 9th program is part of the 3 key areas, strategic areas that the bank in collaboration with government is focusing on. And in terms of infrastructure development, we're looking at access and drainage, education and human resource development, and water and sanitation. And of course, the project today falls under access and drainage. And for us in Grand Fond, access and drainage is very important since you recently had your access being upgraded, but now we have to make sure we mitigate against all the ills and the necessary perils that could come about as a result of natural disasters. So it is indeed for us a very auspicious occasion to ensure that we are ensuring that Grand Fond is part of government focus in terms of we becoming the first climate resilient country of the world.
Outgoing chairman of the Grand Fond Village Council, Mr. Augustus Lewis, says he is happy to see this project come to fruition.
I have been there from day one on that project, and it is under my stewardship. I'm pleased that under my stewardship that project is going to happen, because at one time we were really wondering if it would really happen because of circumstances, natural disasters, and what happened. I think this project must have approved many times and just had to get off because of other things pressing in the country. But we are the people of Grand Fond, I know, are very much happy that this program is going to happen once and for all.
Project manager at the BNTF, Mr. Matthew Carretts, gave a summary of what this project will entail.
The works really involve construction of concrete drains, and there are two parts of the community that will be working. There's the western section known as Boulevard, and it's a long drain in excess of 2,100 feet of drain, box drain. And there's this other section, this is about 330 feet, and that's the section that we're going to have the groundbreaking in a while. In addition to the drains, we're going to construct catch pits, and in some areas, retaining walls. We want to repair and construct some culvert crossings, do some road reinstatement when necessary. We want to install garbage screens, and we want to remove all the sediments and garbage and vegetation.
Member of Parliament for the Grand Fond, Montjean Rivière-Syriac constituency, Honorable Greta Roberts, says Grand Fond has benefited from numerous BNTF projects.
Over the past years, BNTF has invested heavily in the community. I really thought we were special when I saw the amount of projects that you all had done in the community, until I attended the function this morning and realized, but we're not so special at all, man. Your generosity spans a lot of communities. So far, you have undertaken the Montjean preschool extension in BNTF 4, the Grand Fond Back Street, BNTF 4, the Rivière-Syriac daycare, BNTF 4, the Grand Fond Primary School, where we are presently, BNTF 4, Laquec Road in Rivière-Syriac, BNTF 4, Montfregard Road in Rivière-Syriac, BNTF 6, Tayam Road Upgrade, Rivière-Syriac, BNTF 6, and the Grand Fond Water Supply, BNTF 6.
Minister Roberts applauded the BNTF for the projects that they have done around the island. She says these projects have positively impacted the lives of Dominican citizens.
All these projects have had a significant impact on the lives of the people of Grand Fond, Montjean, and Rivière-Syriac, and this storm drain project is no exception. As Minister responsible for citizen empowerment, I want to acknowledge and applaud the work that BNTF is doing across the island. I am aware that projects undertaken by BNTF are as a result of the engagement of citizens in community and national development. Our ministry defines citizen empowerment as providing opportunities and access to citizens so as to develop their capabilities so that they can actively participate in the development and decision-making of their own communities.
Meanwhile, Minister with responsibility for community development, Honorable Rosalind Paul, says this project will assist in reducing the vulnerability of the community.
Some sections of the community's storm drainage system over the years have become eroded and filled with vegetation. In addition, the existing earth drains are opened, causing massive buildup of garbage, and which in turn causes the collection of stagnant water at various points within the drain. The collection of stagnant water is also a breeding ground for mosquitoes and possible infectious disease. In that way, we are alleviating the various risks that we spoke about. We are reducing the community's vulnerability to disasters and to mitigate the possible effects of climate change.
Meanwhile, the Ministry of Sports, Culture and Community Development held a contract signing ceremony for the Basic Needs Trust Fund BNTF 9 project on Wednesday, September 2, 2020. The $1.2 million contract was awarded to Contractor Construction and Industrial Equipment Limited for the construction of the Dominica Community High School extension. Project Manager of the Basic Needs Trust Fund, BNTF, Mr. Matthew Carrett, says BNTF is a community-driven program which continues to contribute to the creation of access to basic infrastructures in needing communities.
BNTF program is community-driven. It is considered here the bank's poverty flagship reduction program. And it has started since 1979, and it has continued to play a major role in providing access to basic infrastructure in poor and rural and needy communities.
Mr. Carrett says the Caribbean Development Bank recognizes the important role the program plays in reaching out to poor and needy communities.
It has been a faithful partnership. The bank has not wavered, and the bank continues to recognize that there is need for this program. And even as was indicated to us recently, even at a time and for the challenges being faced like COVID-19, and even with the difficulties in obtaining funds from the benefactors, because a lot of the bank's benefactors, they come from countries like Germany and England and all these countries that provide soft funds to CDB that they can give to the government. I don't say free, but as grant funding. The bank recognizes the importance that the program plays in reaching out to the poor and needy communities and giving them a way out, a means to an end. That's what we see BNTF as. So when we do projects and we increase education, we provide a better environment for learning. Similarly, for water, we're talking about improved sanitation and hygiene. And for access, it's a means of improving communication.
Mr. Carrett says the extension will consist of 2-floor concrete structures.
It is really going to be the construction of a 2-floor concrete structure, cover north here. So there'll be a ground floor and there'll be a first floor. And provisions have been made in the foundation for an extension to a second floor. We are providing for solar energy. We are providing a covered timber walkway. We are constructing a drainage along the perimeter of the school. And we're also providing an external stair and ramp access to the first floor.
Meantime, Parliamentary Representative for the Roseau South constituency, Honorable Shakira Lokat Hippolyte, says the contract is more than just an agreement with the government, and it represents the improvement in the livelihoods of all Dominicans.
They represent a significant improvement in the livelihoods of people, enhancement of socio-economic development of communities, provision of resources for the underprivileged families, and a reduction in vulnerability of women, men, girls, and boys. This contract represents commitment to lowering risk that impact income generation and well-being. These contracts represent access to basic services and tremendous opportunities for skills enhancement and employment.
The parliamentary representative says the contract signing marks another commitment to the improvement of communities.
Today, I am grateful and humbled to be here at this ceremony for the BNTF 9 program, as this marks yet another commitment to the improvement of communities in ways which impact families and individuals.
Honorable Hippolyte expressed her thanks to BNTF for a number of projects which were undertaken in her constituency.
So I say a thank you. Thank you for the many projects, including the Charlotte Nursery School under BNTF 5, under the BNTF 4, the First Avenue Road in Madrill, Tex Hill Wheel Tracks in Girodel, Bath Estate Drains, the Eggleston Health Clinic, the Kings Hill Road Rehabilitation under the BNTF 3, and the Girodel Eggleston Water Supply under the BNTF 2.
Honorable Hippolyte says she looks forward to the successful completion of these contracts and a continued partnership with the BNTF.
I look forward to the implementation and successful completion of these contracts, and I also look forward to the future of BNTF as we work together to improve the lives of all Dominicans in meaningful ways at the community level.
Meantime, Minister for Education, Human Resource Planning, Vocational Training and National Excellence, Honorable Octavia Alfred, says many schools have benefited under the BNTF project and she is extremely grateful for the assistance.
The partnership that has existed between the Basic Trust Fund and the Ministry of Education has proven a blessing for us in education. Many of our schools have benefited and continue to benefit from assistance to improve learning spaces and expand options for student development. This current project is heavily focused on the upgrade of the physical environment at our beneficiary school against the background of so much damage caused by Hurricane Maria. But there's also the recognition that some of the schools are heavily engaged in skills, and there has been important assistance in that regard.
Minister Alfred says the Ministry of Education continues to place emphasis on the development of technical and vocational education and training, TVET, and thanked BNTF for identifying different ways to ensure that the learning institutions are student-friendly.
As ministry, we continue to place focus on the development of TVET because we see this as one way to empower young people to participate fully in the modern workplace. We thank the BNTF for recognizing those various ways in which our schools could be assisted to become more child-friendly, and by that I mean we are creating spaces that ensure our children are learning in safe, healthy, modern environments.
Honorable Alfred says the new extension will include a resource room, a computer lab, and a library.
The Dominica Community High School is benefiting from a new block that will include a resource room, auditorium, computer lab, and a library. The addition will accommodate innovative teaching and learning methods and develop more skill-oriented youth who will be able to integrate in the world of work more easily. The facility is a 2-floor concrete structure designed for future extension.
The Education Minister says she hopes to see an improvement in the students' academic performance once the extension is completed.
I hope the students of this school will find value in these additions and that we will see improvement in learning and achievement.
Minister for Sports, Culture and Community Development, Honorable Rosalind Paul, says the new extension will assist with addressing the many challenges faced by the students.
The new block will address these concerns and provide an upgraded learning environment for students at an improved teaching atmosphere for the staff and much needed space to house teaching aids and equipment. The new resource room, the auditorium and computer lab and library will facilitate special training sessions for the students as well as their parents. And I would think the wider community, because a public space like that, as I know in most communities, is also beneficial to the wider community.
And now your weather update. A trough system is projected to generate occasional cloudiness, scattered showers, and possible isolated thunderstorms across parts of the Lesser Antilles. At 11 a.m., Tropical Depression 17 became Tropical Storm Paulette in the Central Atlantic, and Tropical Depression 18 in the Eastern Atlantic is expected to become a storm soon. Based on current projected tracks, the systems are not expected to pose a direct threat to Dominica. However, residents should continue to monitor their progress. Slight to moderate seas are expected during the next 24 to 48 hours, with waves peaking near 5 feet under a light wind regime. And that's all for this edition of National Focus. Be sure to follow GIS Dominica on Facebook, YouTube, as well as on Twitter. You can also drop us an email at gis@dominica.gov.dm. From all of us here in the GIS News Production team, I am Shakira Peer. Thanks for watching.